Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hanley Effect. I'm John Dyben.
I'm Rachel Docekal.
Dr. D. I feel like, I don't know why, I was on vacation for a little bit and I got sick and I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I'm hoping you're over COVID because I'm pretty close to you.
We are pretty close.
Is less than 6 feet or fewer than 6 feet, I guess, is grammatically correct.
I will say that I meet the recommendations for being back at work.
Okay, well, I don't know about that, but okay.
So we have two guests today, and when I think about them, and you've known them for a long time.
Favorite
and
people.
I've only over the past year started getting to know them, but I think about, when I think about Hanley Center and really any medical facility or healthcare facility, we always say that you've got people who are treating the patients and you've got people who are supporting those that are treating the patients. And both are critically important. And when it comes to the bigger picture of healthcare, right? You've got people that are like in doing this work in centers and such. And then you've got people out in the community that are supporting, that are helping people become healthcare professionals and that's what we have the honor to have as our guests today. And so I just want to introduce, we've got Erica and John. We were just talking about how sometimes I zone names and such like that. So they've got they're ready to tell me, yes, I'm still Erica, still John.
Badges on. Yeah.
And Erica and John Garwood are the founders of the Mark Garwood Foundation. And I'm going to stop talking and just let you talk. But I just want, we love to hear, what are you doing? What are the things that you're doing? Who are you? But also we love to hear about your journey. And your journey is one that has been incredibly difficult. And the things that you are doing with that to help others. I want you to know that we had, and for our listeners, if you haven't seen the podcast with Nikki, Nikki is a person who, if you go back, after you listen to the Garwoods, hear her story, because the people that she's talking about, helping her move, not just into recovery, but into becoming a professional that helps people. This is the Garwoods. So welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us. In May of 2014, we lost our youngest son, Mark. He was 24 years old, and we lost him to complications of substance use disorder and type 1 diabetes. He was just an amazing young man. He was smart and funny and lots of friends and outgoing and just a joy. But typical of a lot of teenagers, he, experimented with some drugs and a little alcohol, and he'd always come home and tell us what he was doing. But he was doing well. He was getting good grades. He was captain of the football team. I mean, everything seemed to be going along well. He went away to college and, he started to continue his use with substance, with smoking pot, and then got in some trouble with the law and decided he needed a geographical cure. He moved to Orlando, went to college there, and he was at a pickup basketball game when he was assaulted. The guy broke his eye socket, his jaw, and his mouth was wired shut. And the oral surgeon prescribed oxycodone. And that was it, a very typical story where he struggled for years to try and get his life back on track.
Yeah.
When we lost Mark, it was obviously a catastrophic event for us. I mean, that's that phone call no parent should ever have to get. And over time, we had to figure out what was going to be our way forward. We had nowhere to turn at that point. We had no reason to get out from under the covers. But the day before Mark passed away, we happened to be in Washington, D.C. on our way to a wedding, and we were going back and forth with Mark on some typical issues of parent and son.
Money.
And things got a little bit heated. But Mark's last text message to us that we got said, some things have been said, and I apologize for all that, but my God has shown me forgiveness and strength. No. And that's what I want to portray unto others. And may God bless you. Those were the last words we got from our son. Call it divine intervention, call it whatever you will. We popped our heads out from under the covers and said, there's got to be a way forward. And we began to look for opportunities to honor Mark's life at that point.
Yeah, and I believe God put it in my head to say yes to everything, because we were just so devastated and didn't know what to do. And people suggested all sorts of crazy things. And I tried everything: cranial sacral therapy, Reiki, whatever it was, I tried it. Mark was also, while he was battling this disease, he was part of a recovery community, and he was the first person they had lost. And they wanted to do something to honor him. And so they created a halfway house dedicated to Mark. And I went down there to talk to the men and women down there to tell them our story and Mark's story. And when I was leaving, I got a phone call from one of the women there. And she said to me, "Erica, your story really resonated with me. My mom's still using. Can we be family?" And I was like, yes, of course we can be family, you know, and started a relationship with her. And as I got to know Jessie, and she was 29 years old, sober maybe 5 or 6 months, I can't remember exactly. And she was saying to us I'm so grateful to be sober. But I, make enough money to buy a pack of cigarettes and pay my rent. And I'm a waitress in a diner. Is that all there is for me? And, I came home and talked to John about it. And it was, again, a light bulb God moment where, what would happen if we offered to send her to school? And so I said to her, Jessie, if you could be anything in the world, what would you like to be? She said, well, I've always dreamed about being a nurse. And I said, well, what would you do if we gave you a scholarship to go back to school? And she started crying and said she would do anything. And we said, that's the right answer. And and so we embarked on that journey. And it was so interesting. The day that we were going to award her the scholarship, we had a big picnic and barbecue down in Lake Worth, and maybe 200 or 300 people in recovery came out, and we were so excited to announce that. But I hear a little whisper in my ear, and I turned, and it was Jessie's dad. And he said to me, are you sure you want to do this? Do you know what she has done? Do you know the rift in our family? And we said, yeah, we do, and we're going to take a chance on her. And we did, and Jessie had to take remedial courses before she could start back into school. And we stressed to our recipients balance, because not only are they now going back to school, they have family, they have meetings. So she started taking 1 class a semester and then eventually 2 classes. And I think it's been about 2 or 3 years now. She is now a nurse working in a local hospital. So it's
outstanding.
It's just been a blessing to us to watch her grow and develop. But that was the start of seeing how some love and support can really change somebody's life.
And
I'm sorry.
So I was just going to say, give us that number of Jessie's now.
Well, we've awarded 76 scholarships since 2015.
Wow, that's huge. That's game changing.
Well, we've been blessed to provide over $590,000 in financial aid to young men and women who are ready to either begin or resume their education. They're committed to long-term sobriety and are looking for a way forward. What we found was the niche that we found was individuals like Jessie who had been stigmatized because of their substance use disorder. They've had brushes with the law. They've defaulted on loans. They've alienated family and friends. You know the story.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them out there. And what we began to find was, like Jessie, they were saying, I am at this stage in life and I'm marginally employable. I have clouds on my resume. I've got a checkered past. What is my future? And so what we like to say at this point is we're the now what component of recovery. Because when Hanley and people who are involved in the process of bringing people to stability and getting their treatment out of the way and getting their sobriety on track, they still look around and they go, what now?
That's right.
That's right.
So we're the now what? And so we've been fortunate. I think we've now had 30, we still have about 35 active recipients, but we've had 38 that have graduated at this point and gone on. And so we've found that place in the recovery process that as we look at treatment and everything that's so critical to the process,
right?
How do you give those individuals who are now stable and ready to accept their condition, accept the challenge, and have the resources to go forward and build a career? And we're trying to provide that.
So we talk about
Beautiful.
Purpose.
Right.
We talk about purpose. Right. And one of this was really a God moment for me. In 2023, the staff and board of the Hanley Foundation drew what at that point we were calling a recovery model. And the recovery model talked about everything after you take that first step out of treatment, because that's really recovery, right? And, what does that look like? Supportive housing and 12-step meetings, and in some cases, medication-assisted treatment and employability skills, and then education. I remember like yesterday, the first meeting that we had with you all. And, John, you are the chair of our building committee. We just started with the help of the state of Florida and, the community, obviously, in addition to our building, that will add a recovery bookstore, a recovery coffee shop that really aren't a bookstore and a coffee shop. They are a job training program, an employability skills program that are masquerading as a bookstore and a coffee shop. And they are the keystone of what is now known as the Mark Garwood recovery model. Just amazing.
Well, we're just, so honored and blessed by that. And, our application process for scholarships for 2026 is open now until September 15th. I mean, you can go to our website, markgarwoodfoundation.org, and apply. We've had people come up to me and say, but look, I have a felony. And I'm saying, so what? I've defaulted on loans. So what? We don't care. It's where you are today and how you can move forward. And there's no age requirement. I have a grandma who's going back to school because now she was ready. It was when she was ready. And it doesn't matter if you're going to go to a vocational school or you need to get a special certificate or if it's going to be a traditional college. Whatever your dreams are, we wanted to see if we can help you achieve those.
And that's such an important component of what we do. And I know it's what Hanley does, is that human touch, that personal sense of caring and being non-judgmental about these people. Right. We, in the application process, part of the selection process is they have to come in and sit before our selection committee, if you will, 5 people, and they have to tell their story and express to us what their goals and aspirations are. Yeah. Well, they walk in the room and their eyes are like saucers, and it's quite intimidating. But when they sit down in that chair and we begin to tell them, we don't judge. What we're looking for is, what is your commitment and what do you want to be? And we will work as hard as we can to provide those resources. And we also understand it's not a straight line. There are challenges along the way. So we try to encourage them to come into the program, commit themselves to the program, and understand that we're going to have their back all the way through, unless something egregious goes wrong. But that is that has never occurred.
So tell us where these dollars have come from, $500,000 worth. We have some fun stuff coming up here.
Yes, we do. We have our big fundraiser, which is on the first Friday of every November. So it's November 7th. This year, it's a sporting clay event, Shoot for the Moon.
Best name ever.
Love it. Right.
It's at the South Florida Shooting Club, and information about that is also on our website and on Hanley's website. Yeah. We've been blessed with a lot of generous donations and donors and supporters. And at that event, we will award the scholarships for the new year. And then in January, in the last weekend in January, last Saturday, we have Rackets for Recovery, which is our tennis and pickleball tournament. So we're excited about that.
We also are trying to raise dollars to set up a permanently restricted endowment so that this work goes on forever. In Mark's name, the work is in Mark's name, and the endowment is the Mark Garwood Endowment. So anybody who's interested in being part of that certainly can contact you all through the website. They can contact me through Hanley's website. I mean, this is important work. This is giving people a purpose.
And it really, I always think of things from an epidemiology, like from a public health perspective when it comes to addiction, because addiction is it is a disease, but it is a public health issue. And we have lots and lots of research that says stigma and the way people view people with addiction, it kills people. When there's negative stigma, so fighting stigma is so critical. And as I'm sitting here listening, I'm like, you are the proof. What you do is because we say people with addiction, just like people with any other chronic illness, they're not bad people trying to get good. They're people with a really serious illness trying to get well. Right. And we can say that. What you're doing is here's the proof.
What's really neat at our events is our recipients volunteer their time. So they come out to the shoot or they come out to Rackets for Recovery and they help serve breakfast or lunch or sell raffle tickets and engage in everybody. And so what's great for our donors and supporters, it's like, okay, which one's the alcoholic? Which one's the drug addict? And it's like, no, that can't be her. That can't be him. Right. And they see these men and women who are happy and thriving and doing well and so grateful to be there and grateful for their support. So it's, trying to, like you were saying, address the stigma, the picture that people have in their head to the reality of what men and women in recovery really are.
It is defeating that idea that people with addiction are throwaway people. And that is still something we struggle with in our nation just naturally. And people, there we have our whole lists of like kind of throwaway people, and the fight to say, here you go. Not only are we going to help these individuals and have that purpose and have that life, but we're just demonstrating again and again and again, there is no such thing as a throwaway person.
And I'm going to brag a little bit because 90% of our recipients while in our program remain sober.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
So that defeats every statistic that's out there. There is, other than doctors and airline pilots, they're around there, but that's an amazing statistic. It is, and you're right. It's not just, nobody wants to, survival is not the name of the game.
Right. Exactly.
You're right. Thriving is the name of the game, and we'll help you survive. And then you guys help people thrive long term.
It's incredible.
It is. And I don't like to be the bad guy.
I know.
But we're coming to our last minutes. It goes fast.
It did go fast.
But I really,
we're having so much fun.
I'm not joking. Like it is an awe. I'm in awe of because nobody is doing this, and also because I know some of these people, and I've seen, and in fact, there are people who have become professionals, and I only knew them as professional people, educated and in recovery, and never knew that came through your program, that got through school, could never have done it without it. And I actually know people who, like I said, I didn't even know them in their struggle. And I'm one of those people that's going, I would never have imagined.
We had someone at Hanley. I remember when we first met you. So-and-so is right now working in your center. I think she was an intern at that point. Yeah, it was amazing.
So I really do thank you. And we like to let you have the last word. And I think about the people who listen to this, and we've kind of figured that we've come to realize that a lot of different people listen to this. So professionals and mental health professionals, people in recovery, a lot of people who have no clue or are not interested in recovery or also listen to this. It's this really wide group of people. And I'd like to ask you to give your message. And I'd ask for two messages. One is for the people out there who might be interested in your scholarship, but who might be saying, I'm not worthy, and who might be struggling and like where that waitress was who became a nurse. What would you want that person in early recovery to know? And then as parents who've walked through this, is there a message that you would have for loved ones who have someone that they love, parent, child, or others who are struggling with addiction? And so I want to let you have the last two words.
Boy, it's so hard when it's your child and they are struggling, and how to know the right path. And I think it's different for every family, but if you can encourage them to get help, to not be judgmental, sometimes it's just a gut. We tried everything with Mark, the tough love, the not tough love, the whatever we could do. And it just didn't work out that way for us. But there are a lot of support groups and grief groups out there that you can go to. And I would highly suggest that really made a difference for me while he was struggling with addiction and then after the loss.
Thank you.
I think for me, for those who are out there listening, who have the means and who may have the inclination or the opportunity, it's all about second chances.
And third and fourth chances.
Third and fourth chances sometimes.
Yeah.
But people in business out there, they see somebody and they run a background check on an individual and something pops and they're automatically disqualified.
Some of our best staff members are people who got second, third, fourth chances, who have felonies and all the rest of it on their records.
It's always great. I have people who are, I'm thinking about becoming a therapist or something, but man, I had a felony. I'm like, come talk to about 3 or 4 or 5, therapists that I know that are fully licensed.
Rock star
you
folks.
Bet. So also for anyone out there because there are not a lot of places that people can say, you know what, I want to support, I want to give, this is something I want to donate to. I want my money and my dollars to go towards helping people, get that next step. If I wanted to donate or know more about this, how would I get to you?
I would suggest going to our website, markgarwoodfoundation.org. There's a wealth of information on there. And you can also go to the Hanley website. They have information about us also.
And that's hanleyfoundation.org, right? I got it right, see?
And there's a convenient donate button.
Right at the top.
Yes, on both. Yep.
Beautiful. John and Erica, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for what you do and for the rewards that we all get to benefit. So Dr. D, also thank you so much always.
Thank you.
Love
Dr.
hanging with
D.
you.
You too. This was a great one today.
It really was.
Thank you both.
I hope everybody gives to the foundation real quick.
Me too.
And for those of you listening or watching, thank you so much for being here with us. Check out this foundation, and we'll see you next time on The Hanley Effect.
Thank you for joining us for The Hanley Effect. To learn more about our programs, visit hanleyfoundation.org or call 844-502-4673.